guys, so the next fresh wort kit that I'm going to be testing is called Sunset Ridge. It's a 5.3% American Amber Red Ale. In the kit you get base 5 fresh wort, which is also called amber. You get 2 dry hop additions, 1 Chinook, 1 Cascade. You get a hop sock, you get Breezole for clearing, and a Bond Ale yeast. Now on the kits that I've been doing up till now, I've been using real basic fermentation equipment. But there's some steps in the instructions on these kits that I haven't been able to do. One of them is to cold crash for risk of suckback, and the other is being able to bubble the dry hops up through the beer once they're added. So I've invested in a 27 litre Firmzilla so I could do pressurised fermentation. I've also purchased a wrapped temperature control and wrap pill. So hopefully the quality of the beer on that system will come out better, and if it does, then I will redo the kits that I've already done at the end to see if it has any improvement on the taste. So for fermentation, I added the 15 litres of fresh wort to the Firmzilla along with an extra 5 litres of water. I added the dry hops to this dump section, which allows me to purge this section with CO2 to get rid of any oxygen. I added the yeast to the wort. I purged the top of the fermenter to get rid of all the oxygen with CO2. I set the spunding valve at 10 psi. I set the wrap temperature control at 20 degrees at the beginning. And that's then connected to the temperature controller through Bluetooth. So as you can see on the Sunset Ridge profile recorded on the wrap pill, the fermentation took roughly 4 days. Then I left it for a further 4 days. Then I raised the temperature up to 22 degrees for a further 3 days to do a diacetyl rest, and then I dropped the temperature down to 14 degrees, ready for the dry hops. So the dry hops were added through the dump section. So once I've reduced the temperature down to 14 degrees, I opened the valve and let the beer have contact with the dry hops for 4 days. Then I reduced the temperature down on the wrap pill to 1 degree to cold crash, where I left it for 3 days. Then I've moved on to kegging. So for kegging, I purchased a duo-type from Kegland, which automatically switches off once the kegs fill up, which seems to have worked quite well. I've added CO2 onto the in post or the gas post on the Firmzilla and pushed the beer through into the keg. So the keg was filled with CO2 prior to kegging, and I also added the Breezole into the keg as well. So as you could see from the profile, this kit came out at a higher ABV than stated on the instructions. It's supposed to come out at about 5.3, where it actually ended up about 6.2. I had calibrated the wrap pill following the instructions, and it was brand new, so I could take it that the gravity readings were correct. Using the Firmzilla equipment, it's the first time I've used them, and it's a relatively straightforward process. There's different videos on YouTube you can follow to work out how to do like a closed transfer. It is more complicated obviously than just using the standard bucket fermenter, but really it's not too difficult and relatively straightforward. So I'm going to give it a try. So straight away you can see it's definitely amber, and I did add the Breezole. It's not overly clear, you can't see through it, but then a beer of this style, I don't think that really matters. On the nose you get a real malty aroma, definitely. You do get the hop aroma as well. Give it a try. It's definitely malty, very malty kit. You do get that hop flavour through the malt. It is nice. I'll tell you what's great, and I think that may be using the Firmzilla and doing the natural carbonisation that happens throughout the process. The carbonisation of this is lovely. Really small, tight, light bubbles. Really good. But the maltiness, yeah, the
closest thing I could really relate it to is kind of a Newcastle Brown. I can't really compare it to the other kits that I've done in this series because they're very different. This is a very malty beer where they, apart from the Doominator, the others have been more fruity IPA type beers, where this is, I would say, the closest thing I could think of was Newcastle Brown, except it's got a little bit more hoppy flavour, and obviously the carbonisation's better, it's a little lighter. So really, I'm going to be comparing it to that. So if you were to say a bottle of Newcastle Brown was rated as a 5, this is definitely better. It's nicer, it's lighter, it's got more flavour, the maltiness is nice, but it's got the same sort of malt level as a Newcastle Brown. So I would say you could probably make it better. So I'm going to rate this one as a 7. If that's your beer style, you'll love this one. For me personally, it's not my favourite type of beer, but it's definitely a good kit, and I would recommend if that's the kind of beer style you prefer. So I hope you join us for the next one. Thank you.